Hey there, it's Lauren. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I am doing a Sephora sales recommendation video, but I'm gonna be narrowing it and just focusing on luxury makeup items that, well, personally, I've gotten a lot of use out of. I've made a few of these like Sephora sale kind of focus videos in the past. Two this year, since this is like the third sale this year. They really want our money. But the last one I did with the last sale, that was like what, end of summer or something, I focused on like my top 10 green at Sephora or clean at Sephora that has that stamp on it. So I'll link that down below, and that has way more skincare, or just that has a lot of skincare in it, because this won't have any skincare in it. But I just wanted to really talk about luxury makeup items that I personally have gotten a lot of use out of. Luxury makeup is just like, I don't know, like an Achilles heel. I really enjoy it, and it's an investment and it can be expensive, but if it's something that I end up reaching for every single day, it ends up being a better value than, say, a drugstore item that I like never reach for. So some of these things I've had for ages, Major Pan you'll see there, and then there's some newer items that I've just reached for a ton that I wanted to talk about. It's funny looking at this, I'd say the majority of the stuff comes from about 3 brands, and then there's like some like 1, 2, or 3 items from other couple of brands. And I will start with, I think, the brand I have the most of, and that is Charlotte Tilbury. I know I talk a lot about Charlotte Tilbury on my channel, but it is a brand that I use in my day-to-day. I know I have talked about the Hollywood Flawless Filter a million times, probably in like my top 5 of like 2018 purchases that I have made. This is something I will repurchase if I ever run out of it, because there's a lot of product in here, and it's not like a foundation where I'm using heaps of it. It's definitely more of like a targeted situation. So if you're curious about the Hollywood Flawless Filter, mouthful there, it's worth checking out. And if you are a little bit mystified by this product, because people seem to be very confused, I have a video on like how I use it, but I think it's an absolutely beautiful product. The Light Wonder is one of my all-time favorite foundations. It's funny, I tried this years ago and hated it. This just was not what I was into then. Didn't care for it, didn't understand the hype. And then as my tastes have drastically changed in the last couple of years, I revisited it and I was like, oh, what's wrong with me? Anyways, I love this. I'm wearing it today. It's really luminous. It's definitely a light coverage. It can be built up to a medium, but it just feels really nice on the skin. Beautiful, easy to use. It's like one of those foundations I can like blend in like half asleep with my eyes pretty much closed, and with my fingers, and just like smudge it around, and I feel like I look better. I feel like that's kind of one of the nice things about Charlotte Tilbury products, is they just like, they feel like, I don't know if child-proof's the right word, they foolproof, that's the term I'm looking for. Very foolproof, really can look really good slapped on very quickly. At least I feel that way. And then the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a Palette. This is the Beauty Glow edition. There's been several of these over the years, and they've all been limited edition, but it looks like the Beauty Glow is now permanent. So that's pretty great. I've like sampled the other ones, and I'm definitely pleased that I made this purchase. I love this palette. If I have like kind of like a crazy week and I need to like get ready really fast, this is one of the things I'll pull out, and I'll do my whole face. So it's a whole face in a palette if you're unfamiliar. So you have a highlighter, you have a bronzer, there's two blushes, and then 3 eyeshadows. But I honestly use pretty much all the powders anywhere that I want. Specifically, I'll use all the other powders on the eyes, is what I'm getting at. It can be built up if you want to do something a little bit more like smoky, but it's also really good for like day-to-day. I've taken this traveling a bunch. It's like my go-to, one of my go-to items I take traveling. I have another one of those kind of like go-to multi-palettes in this compilation video that I reach for a lot. I've hit pan on this bronzer, and I think all of the bronzers are a little bit different. I don't think this is exactly the same as the Hollywood bronzer duo, which is actually on my wish list. I don't own that, which is funny. That's like the one thing I feel like most people own of Charlotte Tilbury besides the Pillow Talk lip liner. So that's actually one of the things I'm probably gonna pick up during the sale. I have a lot of other items from Charlotte Tilbury I love, but those are definitely like the star 3. That's funny that I said star 3 because I did just pick up a couple weeks ago the Stars in Your Eyes palette. I didn't include this in my autumn favorites like makeup essentials video because this palette I still want some more time to play with. I have loved it so far, but also mainly because the color scheme feels a little bit more spring. It's very, very romantic, but so far I've really loved it. The shimmers are really pretty. The mattes are easy to blend. I've really enjoyed it, nice packaging, etc. Hourglass is definitely another brand that I gravitate towards. I'm very curious also in their cream face palette. I feel like that actually came out a couple years ago, but it's been getting so much more attention in the last like 5 or so months with like how everybody's been way more into cream products. So definitely made it to the top of my list. But anyways, they always come out with these ambient lighting edits this time of year. This one is the one from last year, and I think there's 2 out this year, and one of them is super similar to this one. I think one of the blushes might be slightly different, but I don't know if you can tell because of the marbling, but there's like a severe dip on the bronzer and the highlighter. Actually pretty much all of them except for maybe this powder right here. I think it's the placement that ends up like not using. I wish these 2 finishing powders were near each other or something like that so then it could be like easier to pick up. Regardless, this is a palette that I have gotten quite a lot of use out of and I've traveled quite a bit with. It is very beautiful, very flattering, very easy to use. So I have a full size of the Diffused light, which there's a small one in that palette. This guy, I don't even know how long I've had it, like probably 4 years at this point, major pan on it. It's a finishing powder, but I actually use it to set my makeup. I prefer like pressed powders over loose powders to set my makeup because I don't have a particularly light hand with things. So if I pick up a loose powder, I'm more prone to just like accidentally doing like a real cake face. But then there's the Incandescent Electra Ambient Lighting Blush. This is, as you can see, one of my most used blushes. I've gotten back into this lately. I definitely kind of rested on it over the last year as I was using other things, but I constantly come back to this. I've used this time and time again. I'll get into like moods with it where I'll use it all the time and then it'll kind of like rotate back into the drawer, but it always comes back again. Love this, really, really beautiful. It's kind of like a seasonless blush in a way. So I love this. And then these ones are a little bit more like newer purchases. I know the Hourglass Scattered Light and Smoke is definitely one of my like all-time favorite like glitter single eyeshadows. I think I've said that like every time I bring this up, and I bring it up quite a lot. And it's definitely an expensive single eyeshadow, but I absolutely adore this and it's so pretty and so absolutely perfect. And then I have some other things that I really love that I've gotten recently, like the brow pencil. I've gotten more into this. I was a little bit unsure when I first got it, but now I love it. I can really like get the most even brow I've ever been able to get. Now I know the Hourglass like girl lip stylos came out quite a while ago, but I just got these maybe like 6 months ago, sometime this year, like late spring, and I got 2 colors at the time, but definitely Achiever, which is like a really beautiful like everyday kind of nude rosy brown, is so beautiful. It's just such a comfortable formula, very easy to wear, very, very like nicely feeling on the lips, very highly shiny. And then Marc Jacobs is definitely another brand that I have quite a bit of. The Air Blush in Flesh and Fantasy, I know I've mentioned actually quite a bit lately, but this is just like a perfect goes with everything blush. It's like kind of like a nude, like a brownie nude toned blush, a little bit rosy, very, very like unifying, great like all season, but especially I find it's great as we get more into the holiday season and I'm doing like more like maybe red lips or sparkly eyes, and this is just like kind of a good blush that like ends up tying everything together and not like taking away any sort of focal point moments. And in my last video I did mention this guy, the Scandalous eyeshadow palette. Love this, use this often. And then I have a couple of lip loves from Marc Jacobs. Well, this is actually just one. I just have two floating around and they're both like pretty much dead. So I will be picking up another one of these. This is the Primrose lip liner. This is like my favorite lip liner. I love the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, but this is like Pillow Talk, but a little bit more of like a dusty, like mauvey rose. I like that it's not a sharpener because although I like that I can get such a nice point with a pencil that I can sharpen, I end up feeling like I'm throwing so much of the product away every time I sharpen it. And then these guys haven't been getting much love now that Marc Jacobs has come out with several other lip products since then, but this is one of the liquid lip creams. I think it kind of came out when there was that kind of like velvet finish was really, really big. A lot of both high-end drugstore kind of brands were coming out with, it was like a matte, but it was like a velvet matte kind of finish. So this was Marc Jacobs' version. And this is in the color Truth or Bear. And it's like it's such a beautiful rosy pink. Again, this is a really good like kind of everyday lip color, but it's more pink leaning, but it's also extremely romantic looking. So I love this, and it pairs really well with Primrose. So there we go. So this last bit I'm going to talk about are like kind of like single items from brands, and then just like a lot of different lip formulas. I feel like that's where I end up reaching for a lot when I am purchasing kind of luxury items, is I love a good like luxury lip product. So the Sephora eyelash curler, I know a lot of people mention this. I love this. I've tried quite a few like kind of mid-range brands as well as like drugstore brands, and then I went out and got this one. So I haven't tried, like, I think it's the Shu Amora and the Shiseido ones people always talk about. So I haven't tried those, so I don't know. It comes with one refill pad, and then it doesn't seem like they sell like individual refill pads, which is really annoying. So if you have like a good like pad dupe to fit in here so you don't have to repurchase the eyelash curler, again, that would be really great, because I don't want to buy that every single year. And then the Tom Ford eye pencil. This is the only piece of Tom Ford makeup that I own. This was definitely like kind of a splurgy thing several years ago, but it is still going strong. It is still very, very wet, very, very pleasurable to use. It has a great hand feel, very balanced. It feels like very like stable in a way when I am doing liner, and it is dual ended, which is really great. So it has like a little like tinier nub and then the more kind of quill sides. And very similar to the Hourglass Scattered Light Eyeshadow, I have quite a love affair with the Natasha Denona Chroma Crystal Top Coat, which I will not open because it is like not in solid form anymore from a very, very sad accident that it went through. But if you're looking for like a really beautiful kind of special kind of topper, just go to specialty kind of eyeshadow, I would look into this and the Hourglass. They're similar but different. This is definitely more of like a topper, and that one feels a little bit more like a solid single kind of shimmer. So but very well loved. And then a few more like higher end lip formulas that I personally really like, and some of them I've purchased like multiple colors of. So the YSL, I think they're the lip tattoos. I don't even know what number this is because it's worn away, but it's a nude pink. I have this in a couple of colors, but this nude pink is the one I use the most. I've tried a lot of the YSL lipstick formulas, and this is definitely my favorite. It's a thin kind of liquid formula that does dry down to being more of like a liquid lip, but doesn't feel as like thick. Definitely more on like the stain kind of way that is referring in the name. And then a similar actually feeling formula, but dries down to much more of a matte, is the Nars Powermatte Lip Pigment. I love American Woman. It's actually the lip color I'm wearing right now. It looks more pink, but then it dries down to being this like super dusty rose, which is definitely like theme in terms of lip products. I made like a Dusty Rose video like a couple years ago, and I could make like several more of those. So maybe that's something I will do in the near future, because this is definitely one of those like kind of repeat colors that I purchase in like different formulas and kind of like different tones in a way, but definitely a repeat. And then the Burberry, this is another one of those kind of like velvety formulas. This is their version of, it's their liquid lip velvet, and I have the color Oxblood, and I've been eyeing Fawn, and I think it's like Rose or Rosewood for a couple years now. So that is something I will eventually pick up, because I love those, and definitely they lean themselves to being like kind of like a nice dusty rose. But even though this is a bolder color, it's still a color I have worn a lot. I love this. I love this color. I keep seeing it kind of like, it's like in some like sets, I think, that are being sold right now in Sephora. But when I was like checking on stuff, this wasn't like in a full size, so I don't know what's going on with that, but I love the formula regardless. And then this is actually something that I purchased as a set. It's the Giorgio Armani, the Lip Maestros, which is another one of those like kind of velvety kind of finish, but this still stays rather shiny looking versus those other ones dry down to like that moussey velvet look. These still kind of keep a bit of a shine. And it's a set that came with 4 colors, and they seem to bring back the set every year with different packaging, like a different outer case, but it'll still be the same like 4 like iconic colors. Like this one is like 500, 200, and then the bolds seem to always be 502 and 400, and these are quite pricey lipsticks, but I love having them as minis. I love having actually mini lipsticks, especially ones that come in like kind of tube form like this, because I find that these are one of the lipsticks that I don't go through as fast. Even though I am using them a lot, for whatever reason, I go down on a, like, I make a bullet disappear faster than one of these, even though I wear them equal amounts. I'm rambling. Anyways, I love this formula. I love these. Also, minis are really nice for like having in your pocket or like a small little handbag at night. So those are lipsticks that I have worn a lot, and I've had that mini set for a while, which is funny that they always seem to bring it back every year and it's like the same. Anyways, so those are some of my like all-time favorites. There's definitely some other ones, but I just really wanted to focus on the things that I've used a ton. So yeah, I'd love to know if there's any of those kind of like items for you that, even though it was a bit of like a splurge or something, that you have gotten so much use out of that I should know about. I'm definitely curious about some more Charlotte Tilbury palettes. I haven't actually purchased any of her quads. That long palette is the first one of hers. And then when it comes to like some of those other brands that I mentioned that I just had one of, I haven't really tried too much of. So if you have some favorites, let me know. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and subscribe, whatnot. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.